We're going to be exploring autistic versus neurotypical needs in a relationship. So let's talk about where it goes wrong. All right, so one partner might think that silence equals disinterest. So we kind of talked about for autistic people, it might look like we're disinterested or being cold or distant, but really we're just processing a lot. The other might feel smothered or overstimulated by constant interaction. One assumes if you cared, you'd reach out more. And the other might think if you loved me, you'd give me more space to think. So these examples of how things can go wrong, these are also examples of internalized dialogue that we might be repeating. If they're not talking to me, that means they don't care. If they're not hugging me, that means that they don't, they're not interested in hearing about my day. Or we have all of these scripts that play internally that may or may not be true. So let's talk about how to actually bridge the gap with these differences. So first of all, it can be really important to discuss and agree on each other's connection languages. How do each of you receive and respond to connection? If one of you needs touch to feel connected, talk about what that looks like. Talk about, finding common ground, maybe a way to express touch in a way that doesn't feel too overstimulating for someone, but that's still honoring both of your needs. You can also schedule predictable together time so that there's something on the calendar. We're going to be able to spend time together here. It's not going to be a surprise. It's something that you can expect and look forward to during the week. You can clarify conflict timing. So do you want to talk about this now, or can we revisit this later? I know that's one thing I've learned that's really important for myself, is saying something like, I do really care about this issue, but I'm not ready to talk about it yet. Can you give me some time to process? Those types of statements are really important because it lets the other partner know, I am invested, I do care, but I just don't quite have the words or emotional capacity to respond to this right now. Also, using direct language over hints. That can be very vulnerable. If you're being specific and straightforward about what you want and need, I want to acknowledge the vulnerability and courage that takes to do so. That's a very important part of being in a relationship with an autistic person, and vice versa, for both partners to be able to learn how to articulate what you want and need. And then the last point is just to learn how to celebrate each other's differences. There's going to be quirks in every relationship. If you can learn how to embrace those things, how to laugh at yourself, that's such a great life skill, how to not take yourself too seriously, how to kind of roll with the flow of life. I think we're all learning that one, but just not taking yourself too seriously, staying curious about your partner's patterns and interests and desires, asking questions from a place of compassion. These are all things that can bring us closer together.